Hey, it's Tansel, and today we're going to look at memory palace hacks for everyday life. So let's go. Now, I've got a whiteboard behind me, as usual, and I'm just going to go through, like you've got your memory palace, your locations. If you don't know what that is, go watch my videos on memory palace. But basic rundown, it's an ancient memory technique that enables you to remember things in sequential order. So if you've got hundreds of things or tens of things, you can remember them in order. But there's challenges around it as well. And the main challenges essentially are not effective connections, so you end up forgetting, or you could skip locations, or you just totally muck it up, right? And I'll explain how. Let's just say I am drawing some locations, right? Location 1, 2, and 3, right? So we've got 3 locations. And what I want to do is I need to remember something on there. Now, when you're trying to remember something, right, it's not connected to it at the moment. So in order to connect, we have to make a story, right? So the story, I'll do it in a different color. I'll go red, right? So the story is what goes onto the location. So if you've got a kangaroo, right, I'll give an Australian theme. If you've got a kangaroo, the kangaroo has to go onto the first location. So I'll give an example of a first location. It might be my front door, right? So I'll just write door, right? So the kangaroo kicked through my front door, right? That would be the first scenario. Second scenario is, let's say that is my television, right? I'm going to my living area. And the second word might be a chair. Okay, so now, instead of saying I threw a chair at the TV, right, that's kind of boring. So I want to do something different. So maybe I needed to, let's say I'm a short guy, right? I have to stand on the chair to press play on the TV because I don't have a remote. I've got the old school television, right? That's the connection there. And finally, I might have, I'm going to the bedroom, I might have a bed, right? This is just a very basic memory palace, by the way, so I'm not doing anything extraordinary. I just want to go through the concept of hacks for the memory palace, right? And let's say the third one might be a computer, right? So I'm, lying on my bed on the computer, watching YouTube, right? That's a little association. So that's how we made the stories, and these are the locations, and you can have as many as you want of these locations, of course, right? So what are the hacks, right? This is what we want to be able to do. You've made the story, right? One hack that's worked extremely well for one of my clients because he managed to break a record of some sorts, like memorizing over 200 items, spoken every 2 seconds. And this is what we try and make memorable, right? The word, but you can also focus, and I'll do this in a different color actually. You can actually focus on making the locations more memorable as well. I have spoken about this in another video, but I wanted to stress on the importance of this because if we make that door open and shut, right, now that's some sort of animation, right? Your brain engages with that. If it's just a static door, right, if the door is just staying there, now I have to put all my efforts on this kangaroo, right? Now, that might be a good thing. You might make a memorable kangaroo, but if you've got no idea what a kangaroo looks like, or you've got sort of half an image, then you may not recall it. So if you do that 50% and maybe that 50% better, then you might get 100% recall. Do you see what I mean? So same thing with here as well, television. Instead of just seeing a flat screen or whatever it is, maybe it's exploding. Maybe it's turning on and off. Maybe there's the cables behind it you're visualizing. So in order to make things memorable, make this memorable, you can make this memorable as well, the location. So that's a cool hack. And I can guarantee as soon as you start working on making your locations memorable, you're going to remember a lot more. So that's the hack number 1. Okay, hack number 2 is a really interesting one because it works for a lot of people. But again, I've only coached hundreds of people, but I haven't coached millions, right? Maybe, one to many, but not interactively, right? So this is what I mean. I'll go light blue for this one. Right, now you've got a door, right? The TV is a little bit further away from my door, and the bed is like in another room, right? And I know I just gave a very basic example of this, but the thing is, if you have locations closer together, right, it becomes a little bit more memorable. I'm just going to change arms, holding the phone. So if you put the locations together, right, it's going to be a little bit simpler. So for example, right, I'll just go around this room. I've got a whiteboard. That's actually a big whiteboard behind me, right? Now I could put that as one location. Then I've got a plan. I've got a plan. So it makes sense to go whiteboard and then plan, because what happens is when you're recalling, right, if you're recalling from here and then you go to the next bit just there, the mind could actually see what was before because it's so close, right? That's pretty cool. And then after that, I can just go, I can go chair if I wanted to. I can go door, but see what I mean, right? Things are actually, when they're close together, you could see other things closer next to it. If it's far apart from each other, what's going to happen is you're going to go to one location and then you're going to travel in your mind, travel, and then go, oh yeah, it was here. Do you see what I mean? So you want to be able to make it so that you can recall a lot better and a lot quicker, right? And the mind is amazing. Like you could look at one location and then go the previous one in your brain at the same time and still remember it, right? It happens. You just got to play around with it, right? So that's a cool little hack. Okay, and the final hack is not going to be a surprise at all, but practice using the memory palace. Because if you just memorize, once and then, oh yeah, it's good, you're not going to get the data you need to analyze and then get better. So you need to train a lot more. You need to do this several times, right? You need to do it in a way where you're seeing improvement, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to do it quite a few times, right? You're going to go really bad sometimes. You might go really good sometimes. But what's going to happen is that your baseline is going to improve, because what you'll be doing is that you'll be adjusting how you memorize onto them, and you'll be looking at speed. You might be looking at effectiveness, right? When I coach my clients, I don't just look at effectiveness if they can just recall. I give them tasks where it's really difficult to remember. Why? So we can look at mistakes and analyze. So think of it like training games, because if you can train, analyze the data, you'll get better with your memorization. I can guarantee that. All right. So there you go. They're the hacks there as well. If you've got any questions, please comment down below. I'm happy to answer them as well. I've also got free lessons, right? Free weekly memory lessons. Memory Palace is in there. And I've also got the major systems. All the best techniques are there. So, go in, sign up. It's absolutely free and you'll learn all this stuff. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.